A memo from the desk of the Community Center Director. Hey, everyone. Get ready for the Community Center's annual Thanksgiving celebration. The dinner starts at 7 o'clock tomorrow night, but first, members of the local Natticoke Indian tribe will perform some authentic tribal dances. Don't miss it. Boy, oh boy, tomorrow is our annual Thanksgiving dinner here at the Community Center. And I can't wait to dig into that mouth-watering turkey, mashed potatoes and gravy and stuffing. Sure reminds me of when I was little. My mom used to make Thanksgiving so special. I can almost smell her dinner cooking in the kitchen. Mom, are we gonna have mashed potatoes and stuffing and gravy and sweet potato pie just like last time? Yes, son. And hot apple cider and a big old cinnamon stick, just like you like. And you know what? This year you can help me get everything ready. Wow! Is this the sweet potato pie, Mom? Boy, get your hand out of that pie and go wash up. I need you to help me set the table. Go on now. Mom, what does Thanksgiving mean? Oh, it's really two words, son. Thanks and giving. And that means you're doing two things. You're thanking someone for something, and you're giving something to them. Maybe you can give me a hand with the dishes after we've had our pie. And for your bedtime story, I'm going to tell you all about the first Thanksgiving. When I grew older, I thought a little more about what my mom said about being thankful and giving something to someone, especially for the first Thanksgiving with the Native Americans and the Pilgrims.
A long time ago in England, people were forced to follow one religion or be thrown in jail.
In 1620, some people called the Pilgrims left England on a small ship called the Mayflower. They were looking for a new place to live in peace.
The Pilgrims had a hard trip. They finally reached their new homes at Cape Cod, Massachusetts.
They discovered people already living there, the Native Americans. The Native Americans were very different from the Pilgrims.
One of the Native Americans, Squanto, had learned how to speak English when he was a prisoner of the English. Squanto and the Native Americans taught the Pilgrims the skills they needed to survive in the harsh winter.
The Native Americans treated the Pilgrims to a terrific feast that fall to give thanks for a good harvest and good friends.
I've been practicing my Thanksgiving song. Do you want to hear it? Not really. Well, I need to practice. Over the river and through the... Now you stop, you turkey. I said I didn't want to hear it, but I need to practice. Over the river and through the woods to grandmother's house we... Now, listen, I said I didn't want to hear it, but I need to practice. I'll tell you what. Yes, if you let me have your pumpkin pie smothered in whipped cream, I won't sing anymore. That's a pretty good deal. I have to think about it.
Thanksgiving comes at the end of the colorful fall and the beginning of a dreary winter. It's a time when the weather turns cold and farmers harvest the crops they have grown. Today, people give thanks for a fruitful harvest by having a large dinner with family and friends. The Thanksgiving dinner is a celebration that lasts all day long. Family members and friends gather to celebrate by cooking and just being together. The food is served on a table large enough to seat all of the family members, but sometimes kids have to eat at their own smaller tables. Many of the same foods that the Native Americans and Pilgrims ate 300 years ago, like turkey and potatoes, are still enjoyed today. Carving the turkey is an important part of beginning the meal. Thanksgiving, though, is about more than just food. It's a time for people to celebrate the warmth of their family and friends. Thanksgiving is a time to be together.
My friends and I went to the Plymouth Plantation today. At the Plymouth Plantation, people have kept things the same way they were when the Pilgrims lived there. The Pilgrims first came to Plymouth on ships from England in the middle of winter. We walked through the town and saw houses which looked like the ones they once lived in. We also saw farm animals kept behind fences. A man dressed up like a pilgrim showed us how the pilgrims built fences.
And indeed, methinks, give me over much. This particular device here, what I work with, is called a riving brake, and I would
He
say...
even used the same tools they used back then. Things started to look so much like they did when the real pilgrims lived here that I started daydreaming about their first harvest feast, or what we now call Thanksgiving. The Native Americans and the Pilgrims had a feast together to celebrate the Pilgrims' first year in Plymouth.
Let's raise our e'en and hearts unto Jehovah in his high heaven. Give thanks.
Thanks to the Native Americans, there were many kinds of meat, fish, vegetables, and sweet things to eat. I'm sure everything was delicious.
From the time human beings first harvested crops, there have been harvest feasts. The Iroquois Indians of North America hold an annual drum dance of Thanksgiving, and the Abenaki still tell their story about the origin of corn.
There once was a young boy from the Abenaki tribe named Boy in Rainpool. He lived alone in the high meadows where wild animals played and bees bumbled in the hot summer air. He gave himself this name because he had seen his own reflection once in a puddle of water after a rainstorm. When he saw his face in the water, it gave him comfort as if he had a new friend. Yet there was no one for miles around, so no one knew his name. The animals were his friends, but he hoped for someone more like him. He wanted to be with someone he could play with, and together they could run through the high meadows. But instead, he spent his days chasing the bees and looking for herbs and roots to eat. One afternoon, the sun began to bake the earth, and many roots dried up. Boy in Rainpool became very hungry, but the sun was so hot it made him sleepy. He curled up beneath a tree on a soft patch of moss. At first he could not sleep, for the sound of his stomach rumbling kept him awake. But soon he forgot his hunger and fell fast asleep. Suddenly he was awakened by a whispering noise. He peered into the distance and saw a figure approach. All around her was a golden glow as if she had come straight from the sun. When the vision spoke, her voice was as gentle as the wind. "Boy in Rainpool," she spoke softly, "I promise that you shall never be lonely nor ever go hungry again." Boy in Rainpool was very happy to hear this, as he was still very hungry. "But you must do one thing for me. Look out beyond the meadows where the earth is scorched by the summer heat. When the sun has set, you must come and dance with me around the field where the ground is bare." So they danced together until they were too tired to continue, and then they laid down to go to sleep. Suddenly he awoke to a rumbling sound which he was sure was his stomach, for he had not yet eaten. Instead, when he blinked his eyes open, rain was pouring down on him, and this time the rumble he heard was thunder. He cried out to the young girl, but she was nowhere in sight. Then he realized that all around, just where they had danced, great healthy corn stalks had grown. Though he wasn't quite sure what corn was, these wondrous shoots smelled so fresh in the summer rain that he jumped up and grabbed the largest ear of corn he could see. He noticed the fine silken hair inside the husk that protected the corn. The young girl's hair flashed through his mind. So this is why she wanted to dance where the ground was bare. It was then he realized her wispy yellow hair had made the corn, and as he ate, he washed himself in the pool. People from miles around had spotted the great stalks of corn, and now Boy in Rainpool had someone who could hear his story.
Well, I sure thought I knew what Thanksgiving was all about. But after your performance, I realized I got a lot to learn.
There's a lot that a lot of people can learn about Native American people. We Native American people, we say that we came from Mother Earth, Mother Aki. And we say that the Great Spirit, Gitchti Manito, the creator of all people, is the father of all people. And that Mother Earth is the mother of all people. So in the Indian viewpoint, to the Native American people, all people, black, white, red, yellow, brown, all of us are brothers and sisters. We all have the same father, the Great Spirit, Gitchti Manito. And we all have the same mother, Mother Earth, Mother Aki.
Hi, happy Turkey Day. Today we're going to make a mobile. A mobile is a piece of art that's in motion. So we're going to make a mobile of the Pilgrim ships in motion across the ocean on our way here. Now, to make it, the materials you're going to need are some walnut shells and just some sticks and some pieces of paper and fishing line or dental floss or some kind of string to hang it with. So let's get started. Now you take a half a walnut shell and you're just going to put a dab of glue at each end and put right across it this cross piece. That's going to support the mast. Now once the glue is set on that, we're then going to put another dab of glue on the side of the cross piece and down in the center of the shell. And from that, we're going to attach the ship's mast and let that dry. Now once that's dried, we're going to add the sails onto it. Now the sails are just triangles, so any piece of paper that you have, just cut up into some triangles, and we glue them onto the side of the mast and across the cross piece. Now you can have one sail on your ship, or maybe a smaller sail on the other side. Make them different. Each boat doesn't have to look the same. When we come back, we'll put the mobile together.
Most of the people living in the United States and Canada today don't grow their own food like the Pilgrims and Native Americans did. The fruits and vegetables that we eat are planted and packaged by many different kinds of workers. It all starts with the farmer who grows the food. Farming is hard work and requires a lot of dedication. Farmers spend long hours planting and nurturing their seeds into food. They use large machines called tractors to harvest or collect their crops from the ground. Some people, like the Amish, work without heavy machines. They use handmade plows, powered by horses to grow the food they need. After the farmer has harvested the food, the fruits and vegetables are sent to grocery stores where people buy them. Thanksgiving celebrations are a good time to remember all the different people who bring good, healthy food to our dinner tables.
A horn overflowing with fruits and ears of grain as a sign of a plentiful harvest is called a
cornucopia!
Every Thanksgiving in New York City, there's a big parade called the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. Lots of people come to watch the loud marching bands and colorful floats cruise down the street. One of the coolest parts of the day is watching all the balloons in the shape of cartoon characters that tower over everything. Sometimes they're even taller than the buildings.
Oh, there it is. Does that ever look good? Pumpkin pie smothered in whipped cream. It's my favorite dessert in all the world. Oh, what a Thanksgiving this is going to be. I can't wait for a taste. Oh, you're really going to like this pie. It's really delicious, and I'm glad I'm giving it all to you.
Now we're going to finish the mobile. You take your 5 boats, and from the end of each one, tie a piece of fishing line or string. Now you're going to take one long stick, and from this long stick, suspend one boat. From the other side of the stick, suspend another stick. And you're going to keep building it that way. You're going to do a stick, and then from that stick, a boat, and then from the other half of the stick, another stick. And just keep building down like that until you've used up all 5 boats. So we have a stick, and then from this one, we'll hang another boat. Now once you have all 5 boats attached onto the mobile, all we have left to do is balance it. And that just means you want every stick hanging level. So all you need to do is just move one line closer to the center, or maybe further apart, until you get them hanging perfectly straight. And then you're all done, and you're ready for Thanksgiving.
We are speaking about Thanksgiving. We have our annual powwow every year. This is a time where we give thanks. We show all the people of the tribe through the dancing, through the singing, through the drumming. We have people that come from far away. This is our homecoming. We as Native Americans, we take pride in what we do. More dancing comes more spirit, and the spirit is what we are about.
We think of Thanksgiving as an American holiday when the Pilgrims celebrated their first harvest in the New World. The Pilgrims brought their customs to Massachusetts, but were thankful for much more than their harvest.
They were grateful for the friendship of the Native American people, who taught them how to survive in this new land. And as we say in our language, the Great Spirit Gitchiti Manito, the creator of all people, told us to share all that we have. And when we give of ourselves, it is as if our very heart goes with it, and we continue to give to this day to all the people of this land.